to say he's one that he's great with the patience and
Like we just said, it'll be over by the time the next meeting is the election.
I hear what you're saying. I don't know that the city back. Maybe they will. I don't know. It's never.
We'll see.
One time I did not. I'm like, I need the light.
You made it vertical.
I don't.
It's good.
How you doing?
And then.
I had to kick Mike in the butt to get him up the stairs real quick, but it was.
Yeah, it's up in the. It was.
You didn't even take the elevator?
Yes, he says under Google Maps.
No,
I'm impressed.
they say the more walking and exercise I do, the faster the blood will dissipate. But
See, this is.
that happening
This is
fast.
where I'm, you know, because I didn't put that up there, I don't care, but I asked her to email it. The one you each emailed to is the final one.
He
So
said,
that
"Well,
was,
that's like, probably-
that's not.
probably won't be down by then. Probably won't have that. Right, so we'll
Because
see.
the one that's showing had that kind of age, and I didn't see that originally.
Give them closer
Yeah,
to the date.
attachment, not
That's
appendix.
not
So I don't
It's
necessarily.
November.
I disagree with you.
Second, third. We'll see. Yeah, I'll play it by ear right now. At least I did get moved across the street to the road in.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, why the rush?
Yeah.
Because I know it's very.
That helped. At first I just.
Yeah.
Hey Jeff, how's Casey do with the tracking?
He ran really good, but it was just, everyone ran slower.
This was a
So
compensation agreement, but I want
He's
the
like
resolution.
20,
That's what we're doing.
22, but he's like up in front of the pack further than normal was. I thought he was gonna break 20.
Oh, the compens, they
And
are,
people
the
he kind of pacing
resolution
himself
is
with
agreeing to the compensation agreement.
were, that would have been under 20 or
Give
over
it to the
22.
city,
Over
not the
20, we
resolution,
should
will
talk.
sign
So
the comp- So that's
But
just
we have to-
separate.
that's just low
But it's
because there's no
serious.
straight, big
And that's
straight,
what
with a
we're
lot of
doing.
curves.
Yes, this was the first
He was happy with it.
Hey Wes, is the mic on?
Oh, they're back
The
there.
team,
Yep.
both girls were beating, beating things, so they, say legitimately, just because that's
I'm sorry, she put it up there. You're right.
districts at Vita Farm, who pulled
So
it.
what we're voting on
And
is
then
email.
regional.
But I did pull the figure out.
Yep.
All that.
Look,
Could be
they
that
went
way.
on,
Either, I don't know what's going
signed
on.
up for the church.
Yeah, it did. I remember looking at it because I was, it did.
Okay.
I gotta fix that because that's bad. See, this is just. No, I know. Born that way, so.
Hey, we all have our crosses to bear.
That's what they catch me, right?
The air conditioning was.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
No.
That's what we did.
That's what they're ready to.
It's smaller than normal.
Oh, it's even bigger because he used it.
True. That's true. He's ready whenever you are.
I am. I was like, what? Did someone say something? Everybody ready? Oh, yes.
Born. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Oregon Board of Education regular meeting of October 18th. We'll have a pledge of allegiance and a moment of silence, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May we have the roll call, please, Mrs. Drew?
Mrs. Cathers? Here. Mr. Shea?
Present.
Mrs. Molnar.
Here.
Mr. Savick?
Here.
And Mr. Zavisky.
Please silence all personal electronic devices during the meetings. We need a motion to adopt the agenda as written. May I have a motion?
Do I do this now or in discussion if I have a suggestion for the agenda?
Under discussion?
So I wait for the motion and then the second and then I
Correct.
say my piece. Okay, I appreciate your patience as I learn the protocols.
That's fine. Motion, please.
So moved.
A second.
Second.
Discussion? Now.
Yes, to the point of the compensation agreement that we'll be voting on, I suggest respectfully that maybe we take a bit more time, given some of the swirling last minute details. So I'm not opposed to the idea, I want to support the community, I just feel like it's a pretty significant decision and there's quite a few moving pieces that I think still could benefit us to just get locked down, so.
Any other discussion?
I'm going to suggest, again, I understand Mrs. Cathers, there's been a lot of behind the scenes work to get to this point to bring it to a vote tonight. I mean, it's board's decision certainly, but there's implications that are connected to timelines within the city as well. And I think we've got it to a point, or at least the document to a point where both the city and the district are in the best place they've been with it for a long time. So again, that's just my comment. So it's up, if anyone wants to say anything or.
A motion to pull.
Table, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, I'd like to revisit it at the next meeting or even a special meeting, but I mean, when the correct version of the materials were not even in the right spot. I'm not trying to be,
Well, they were emailed to everybody, and that's where everybody got this.
yes, requesting to table it and take it up at a special meeting or the next meeting.
How long would it take for you to, I guess, be satisfied? How soon can we have a special meeting? That would be my only question.
Sure. I suppose if there was timely response and complete response to any outstanding questions, in a week or so, potentially, just, I mean, again, it just depends on how fast I can get the information and get through it. It just,
My suggestion, having gotten involved in this here in the last minute, there's been a lot of work done by attorneys for the district and also for the city of Oregon to try to pull this across the finish line. It's like collective bargaining. Does everybody walk away with what they're happiest with, or do you try to make it work for people as much as possible? And if we've got legal counsel on both sides saying they're comfortable with it, I think that, perhaps Mrs. Molnar, what we do is we ask for a second on Lindsay's motion.
Correct.
To table that. If there is that, then we can vote on that. But my personal feel is that we can go ahead with the agenda as written.
Okay, so Mrs. Cabbage, you're making a motion.
yes.
Is there a second to her motion?
I'll second that with the stuff latest stipulation, we get back sometime next week. I think a week is plenty fair for people to get up to the end changes and schedule a special meeting sometime next week to prove it, so that's not delayed any further.
Okay, so then we need to have a vote on Mrs. Cather's motion. Roll call?
Mrs. Cathers?
Yes.
Mr. Zavisky?
Yes.
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Mrs. Molnar.
Yes.
And Mr. Savick.
No.
So we would come back here then,
Do you want to set the date now then?
Yes.
Okay.
because we need to do it and we need to do it quickly. And it's gone on too long and as Mr. Savick said, both legals are okay with it, so.
Yeah. Yes, there's just, I think, some clarity of documentation and diligence and detail work that would be really helpful to give confidence to a significant decision. So I don't,
A week from today,
The 25th?
the 25th, anyone?
We have Ollie for the Cure and Haunted Hallways here. I would probably stay away from that.
yeah, agreed.
Not a good night.
We can do it Monday.
Monday night?
Monday the 24th.
Monday the 24th.
6 o'clock,
6 or earlier.
earlier, yeah.
I can be here as early as 5.
I could do 5.
Well, I don't know about me, where my schedule.
Oh, I'm looking up and down to see if 5 works for all of us.
Five is excellent.
Monday is 5
Work.
o'clock.
I would ask that there be some conversation on exactly what additional information is needed, because, you know what I mean? So that we can
I
get on
think
with
that's
our
up to
journey.
Lindsay to.
Yeah, that's what I want, so just reach out and.
Yep, I'll get it to you tomorrow so that you don't lose days with getting.
But as we do this, and this, so if we're doing it in a short time, make sure that all correspondence gets to everyone. So when you send it to Jane, Jane, could you share the questions so that we all get the answers?
Yeah.
Would that be fine?
Oh, of course, no problem.
Thank you.
Till Monday,
I would like, I agree with you, Dan, we need to speed this up.
Monday, the 24th at 5 p.m.
I think to me, the big thing is the timing issue, simply because of the interest rates right now. There's gonna be another couple hikes more than likely coming in the next couple of months. And I think we have a responsibility. I would hope that this board is not the one that will be holding up progress for the city of Oregon. And I understand we want to get as much information as possible, but I also understand the financial implications. The longer we wait, the more difficult it makes it for developers.
I agree, but I want everyone to be comfortable.
Okay. All right, so we will take that off, and then we need roll call to adopt the agenda of that piece.
This one.
That is the agenda, because anyway,
Is it a
I think we
motion?
originally had,
that's a new business, is it?
we already had a motion from Mr. Savig. Oh, we need a new motion then?
The motion was done, the second was done, we just need a roll call.
Okay, Mr. Savig,
Yes,
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Mrs. Cathers,
Yes.
Mrs. Molnar,
Yes.
and Mr. Zavisky.
Yes.
Okay. Student government, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, and please introduce yourself.
I'm Curtis Stringham, Clay's student government president,
I'm Katie Clark. I'm the vice president at Clay.
and we're here to do the Clay report.
So last meeting, that was homecoming week, as you guys may have known, and the activities went over really well. Powder Puff was actually rescheduled. It got canceled that night, and it was rescheduled, I think, a week and a half later. And the juniors won Powder Puff and Iron Man, so it's kind of stakes for the seniors, but oh well.
Yeah.
And it was a great turnout. The dance went really well. Everything was successful. We had about 800 tickets sold, and about that amount went to the dance, around 800.
In the past couple weeks since the last meeting, a lot's happened. We hosted the Clay Cross Country Invitational on the 1st of October. We had our military college and career fair here at Clay on the 5th, which went really well. And then on October 6th, the Tri-M music inductions happened here at Clay. We had 6 choir kids and 5 band kids that were inducted into Tri-M this year.
Also on the 6th was the Kona Ice Award for ODE Attendance Awareness Month. And it was very good, I will say. I personally got to have it myself. I was very happy. And then the Goodwill Challenge was this past week against Whitmer. And Clay won we had 21,900 pounds, and Whitmer had 5,600. It's good for Clay.
So last week, we had the meeting with Jostens for the senior cap and gowns. They were ordered today, was the deadline to order those, so that's on the roll. Vocal Music had their concert, I think it was 2 days ago on the 16th here at Clay. I heard it went well. And the band concert is actually tonight after the board meeting. I think many of you guys probably know that. It's at 7, I believe. And that brings us to the end of the first quarter today.
And then some of the dates looking forward is, like Mr. Gregory said earlier, is Haunted Hallways is the 25th. and it's gonna be here at Clay, so that's very exciting to have it, finally have it back. And it will be at 6 o'clock in the first hours, less spooky, so more suitable for young kids. And then the 26th is the band banquet at 6 o'clock. And then the 1st of November is the 8th grade tours and kind of visitation day for them to come in. And then the 3rd is the 8th grade parent info night and the open house for the 8th grade parents to be able to come in and kind of meet the parents and look around with their kids. And then the 7th is parent-teacher conferences.
And then last thing is taking a look at sports. We had 2 boys golfers qualified to go on to their district meet. 1 girl off the tennis team qualified. The entire girls golf team is moving on, and then both cross-country teams are competing Saturday in the district meet. And that's all we have for now.
One homecoming queen, Katie.
Thank you.
So the haunted hallways, you haven't done that in a few years, so that is intended just kind of for the community who's watching, that's intended for little kids at the beginning and then
Yeah.
like older kids, you
Yeah.
guys, high school age, kind of towards the end.
And for community who doesn't really know what haunted hallways is, it's kind of a chance for the high schoolers to be able to be scarers for a little bit. And it's all like the organizations put it on, or athletics, whoever they want, and they'll get their own section of the hall, and it's kind of themed around what they pick. And they get to go through the entire high school, and it's kind of like a big haunted house.
And then Katie, the equestrian team finished up the
Yes.
season, right?
Yes, we had our last meet on Sunday. And it's sad, but we ended a good year. We had,
Led by you getting several first place
yes.
finishes. And then how does new people that are interested, if they want to, for next year, get information on the team?
Well, they can see, if they know anyone on a equestrian team, they can contact them, or they can contact me and I can give them some information if they'd like to join, and they have to have a horse, so horses are not provided.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you guys.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay, staff and community recognition. Mr. Gregory.
Sure. So Amy, come on up. Just, I know a couple of our board members know this, but we just want to recognize Amy. Come on up here. We'll get a picture here in a second. But Amy was nominated by us, several of us together, for the OSBA, Northwest Ohio OSBA Excellence in Community Service Award. And we were very excited to nominate Amy. I mean, I know all of us, know Amy and how involved with our school district and our foundation she is on a daily basis. But this recognition award was really to thank her publicly for all the things she does, not just the formal things she does as part of our organization, because Amy's willing to do just about anything we've ever asked of her, whether she's on the clock or not on the clock, or a weekend or a summer or a night or whatever. And a lot of that is around taking pictures for things, and just, she does all the banners for all the seniors, which is a huge endeavor that she does not have to do, but she does that because she cares about the kids and she cares about the children. So on behalf of all of us, certainly we want to congratulate you on this award. And she was able to join Carol, Dan, and I at a dinner. Was there anybody else there? Jane was there, yes. I'm missing somebody. Jane was with us in Tiffin at Sentinel for a dinner about a week and a half ago. So congratulations, and anything you'd like to say?
Well, thank you for the nomination, and, I give my heart and soul to Oregon schools. Of course, I'm an alum, and so forever an Eagle, and my colleagues make it, fantastic environment to come and help out wherever I can, so.
Thank you. Well, congratulations. Wes, will you take a picture? Now, Amy may not like how we say it, so
I was
she's,
just thinking.
just let him take it. You don't have to stage it. All right.
Lighting.
It's all good.
Shadows.
Amy, thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Public participation at board meetings, I have no cards. I have nothing. Please be advised that this meeting is being audio taped and will be available on the district website. Moving on to the treasurer's report.
All right, I have a brief report tonight. I wanted to point out one thing that I picked up on that is important to us. The real estate taxes are, down 2% from last year, and I looked into it further because 2% isn't a huge amount, but we really should be holding steady. And it's, after further exploration, it's really due to delinquencies. They're up 23% over last year. So I think that reflects the current economic environment. I do believe, though, that we've historically had very good collections, so it isn't really an alarm. It's just where we're at right now. So I don't want to, spend more time on it, but I just wanted you to know that is the reason for the slight reduction. The other items are, I think I've said them every month, I just like to keep them in the forefront. We do continue to carry significant true cash days, 198. Please remember that ODE recommends 60 to 90, so we are in a very strong cash position. I have the notes from the Finance Committee. We are still, hopefully, I hope to have the fundraising data for approval tonight. Unfortunately, I have some more bushes to rattle, so we'll get all that information to you for the next meeting. We discussed the City Center project, and then we are in our period of open enrollment. It ends 10/24, which is next Monday. It's an automated process, and we're making some good progress. And the other items are things that we've discussed. I just wanted to make you aware of them again. So unless there are questions, that is my report tonight.
May I have a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
So move.
A second?
Second.
Discussion or questions? Roll call?
Mr. Zavisky,
Yes.
Mr. Savick,
Yes.
Mrs. Cathers,
Yes.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
and Mrs. Molnar.
Yes. Does anyone feel the need for an executive session? Okay, moving on to the consent agenda. Are there any items that members of the board wish to pull from the regular meeting consent agenda? Hearing none, a motion is needed to vote on the consent agenda items.
So moved.
Second. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Mr. Savick,
Yes.
Mr. Zavisky.
Yes.
Mrs. Cathers,
Yes.
and Mrs. Molnar.
Yes. Okay, moving on to new business. We will bypass item A, which we removed, and go to B. An agreement between OCFT and the Oregon Board of Education. I need a motion to approve that agreement.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Discussion? I want to thank the union and our side, whatever. from the two sides. The two sides came together with a good agreement, and I'm very pleased with it. Thank you so much for the hard work. And it does take hard work to agree. Roll call?
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Mr. Savick,
Yes.
Mr. Zavisky,
Yes.
Mrs. Cathers,
Yes.
and Mrs. Molnar.
Yes. Moving on to item C, policies. The following policies are being presented for their first reading. Recommendation for them will be made in November. Item D, the strategic plan. We need a motion to adopt the updated strategic plan. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion,
If I could, real quick.
please.
And so, this has been a long time coming, and really the adoption of the strategic plan is more of just a public acknowledgement of we've worked towards having goals and objectives that we're now moving forward with. So I do want to thank the entire board. I do have a bit of a report when we get to my superintendent's report about kind of where we're at as we get rolling on this. But again, we just have a sample, a similar flyer that we have used in the past. I know I've had a few conversations with a couple of you, and we can certainly take a look at the format and all that kind of stuff as we move forward and how we want to present it. But the bottom line, what we're really acknowledging is the 6 core goals that we have and the number of objectives that we're going to begin to work towards. And I really see us reviewing this document annually more than every 5 years, to be honest with you. I think we're going to see a lot of good progress this year, and then we're going to continue to build upon it.
And it is a living document. We can update it anytime we want.
And I think what's most impressive about this document is it has measurable outcomes. So we can look at each one of these goals and say, yes, we're there, we've completed that goal, no, we have not attained that goal, or it's a goal-stone process, or no longer a goal. So it's nice that we can let our community know that, hey, we are making progress. These are the areas that we're doing well, and these are the areas that we have opportunities.
So is this like living document that can change, or is it something that we revisit, like in 4 years and redo 5 years?
My thought, again, it can be, we kind of went into this, hey, let's write something for kind of 5 years, but if you really get into the weeds of these objectives, there's a lot of them that will be accomplished if I have anything to do with it in the next year. So I really think annually we'll be rewriting the objectives, and at that time, evaluate, I guess, the wording in the goal. This is my suggestion. I mean, we can do whatever we want. I mean, we can do whatever we want, but my suggestion is that annually, maybe in the summertime, that we go back and take a look at this kind of in depth, and I'm gonna be reporting out to you 4 times a year. You're gonna know where we're at on each of these objectives that we have here. So at the end of the year, we'll know how many we actually completed, what we're in progress doing currently, and what we haven't started. Hopefully, we won't have any that we haven't started, but what I don't want it to be, or what I'm hoping it won't be, is that, we're not gonna change it every month, and no, I don't like this, or let's add this, or let's delete that. It'll get too confusing for my team to keep up with it. So we have teams in place, we have team leaders, and we have goal leads, and we have objective leads, and we're writing action plans for all of these right now. So to throw in another objective or a different set of goals or something would be difficult for my team, given the place we're at right now with implementation.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Savick,
Yes.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Mrs. Cathers,
Yes.
Mr. Zavisky,
Yes.
and Mrs. Mulnar.
Yes. Item E, a transportation contract. We need a motion to enter a transportation contract with the Floyd family. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Mrs. Cathers,
Yes.
Mr. Zavisky,
Yes.
Mr. Savick,
Yes.
and Mrs. Mulnar.
Yes. Item F, there are some donations. Christ United Methodist Church donated 50-pound bags of flour, and I just heard that flour has gone up
See
hugely.
Mr. Jersey smiling back there? I'll make a comment when you're done.
Okay.
From his donuts.
But it was-
Oh, she ruined it.
I'm sorry.
Okay, and St. Charles donated hygiene products to the Clay Cares Closet, and First Nails and Spa donated to Jerusalem Elementary 4th grade classes. May I have a motion to accept these, please?
So move the things.
With thanks. Second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Savick,
Yes.
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Mrs. Cathers,
Yes.
Mr. Zavisky,
Yes.
and Mrs. Mulnar.
Yes. Item G, disposal of materials. We need a motion to dispose of 2,097 Chromebooks, 188 books, 39 DVDs, 9 videos, 11 drums, 1 set of bells, 10 drum cases, 1 drum harness, and 9 drum rims. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
A second? Second. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Shea,
Yes.
Mrs. Cathers,
Yes.
Mr. Savick,
Yes.
Mr. Zavisky,
Yes.
and Mrs. Mulnar.
Yes. And item H is disposal of equipment and materials. The items listed in the September 20th agenda for disposal have been disposed of in accordance with board policy. You're up, Mr.
Okay,
Treasurer.
thank you. So I just also want to throw out a big thank you to the Board of Education and Ben, OCFT, for navigating negotiations and coming to a mutual agreement that I believe benefits both OCFT members, of course, and certainly the Board of Education. The process was long and detailed, took a little longer than we thought, but I do want to thank Jane. Thank you for your research and guidance along the way. And Ben, certainly you and Jeff, Ben Pfeiffer, Jeff Cooney were kind of the two primary negotiators for OCFT, and we met, quite a few sessions together. So it was always amicable. It was always positive. we necessarily didn't agree the whole time, but at the end of the day, we came to agreement, which the board acted on tonight. So again, thank you for that. And we will next be move on with the other groups within our organization and hopefully have agreements to you guys here in the coming month. So thank you again. I want to thank our team leaders, our administration, and all the folks that helped plan, this football season. It's been a couple of things. One, it's been exciting because we've been winning. Number two, it's been stressful because we've had a ton of people and we've kind of reorganized how we've run the games throughout the year because of that, which is a good problem to have, and we continue to grow and learn. And it almost feels like this year we went from running a high school football game to running a mini college event. Like it's an event now. It's not just a high school football game, and it takes like 20 to 30 of us, it seems like, each and every home game to talk and discuss and run and do all those things. So that all came together in that last game when there was the shooting at Whitmer and Whitmer was playing us, and we took all the extra precautions that we could possibly take. And I just want to thank all those people that were a part of that, because the experience, I think, was real good for those of you that were there. It went off without a hitch, I think, in terms of safety. We had plenty of people in Whitmer. The biggest thing was the Whitmer kids, Washington local leadership felt a real sense of security and thanks to us. And that was told to us in many ways, in many forums. And their superintendent, their leadership, their principals, they were all there. We were all on the sidelines talking and communicating. So again, thank you to everybody that had something to do with that night. Didn't like the scoreboard, but we'll fix that next year. Just a reminder to our community, the Board of Education has a $2 million permanent improvement renewal levy on the ballot this November. This levy is 55 years old and it has provided funds for curriculum materials, student devices, and annual maintenance and facility improvements around the district for that period of time. So again, I just wanted to remind the community that levy is on for a vote. And finally, just a real quick update on the strategic plan. If you like this progress method, I'll continue. If you do not, I will adjust. Not a problem. So in your packet, you have a series of papers that show each goal and each objective. So it kind of looks like this. If any of you want to pull that up. All right. So, and what I did just for this one is if you kind of flip the pages, you will see each objective and you will see the 4 progress dates I intend to update you. You can certainly ask questions anytime, but these are basically each quarter. So at the end of each quarter, I'm going to give you whether this objective is in progress, whether it has not been started, or whether it's been completed. Now, I don't expect to see a lot of completeds here in this first half of the year, and that'll be more towards the end. I can get into the weeds of the action plans and what we're doing specifically, but I don't know if that's what you want here. It will take a lot of time to do that with 25 objectives, but rather I thought I would just give you a quick synopsis. And as of right now, of the 25 objectives, 13 have action plans completed and are underway. We are currently working on the development of the remaining 12 action plans, which we have meetings scheduled for, and we're working on that. And so that's kind of my format for progress, at least at a high level, not with detail. Do you think this can work? I can also share the documents with the action plans with you. Actually, they are shared with you. You can go on and take a look at those anytime, any place, and take a look at what some of those action items are that we're working towards. So if that's acceptable, that's kind of my updates, but I can certainly make it fancier or more in length, but I know a lot of times we like to just get the highlights and know that we're making progress. And I feel real good about those individuals leading these goals, and it's definitely a priority for our team.
I guess I would just add with each quarterly, maybe pick one topic that you like you're most happy with.
Absolutely.
The biggest
That's a good idea.
In that.
Yeah, I can do that.
In that quarter.
Absolutely. We can do that.
Or we could have a work session to go with these too.
We could,
We can
absolutely.
always do that.
And if we want to do that, maybe at the end of each semester, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe twice a year, or maybe in December and May.
I like both suggestions.
I do that.
It makes sense to do it a little bit at a time and then a big chunk.
So next month, I'll bring you a progress report for each of them, and then I'll highlight one of them in specific, give the specifics. Perfect. Okay. And then last but not, it's not on the report, but I did send you all an updated calendar for the 23-24 in your email. You have a copy in your folder, but I didn't put it on my report. Again, I want you to just take a look at that. I know a couple of you have called with questions and some ideas, so we're deviating a little bit from our norm that we've done over the past number of years. The one thing I've heard consistently is we want a later start when the weather's nicer in August. So we listened, and we are, at least when I say we, I mean the committee. It's made up of administration and union representation. We sit down, and Carol Sonkran is also on that. And we sit down and brainstorm. We have almost 4 or 5 options that we kind of touched base on, but I think it kind of led to this one, at least for this upcoming year. We have some other ideas. That is why we don't have 2 years right in front of you, but I suspect the following year will be coming sooner than later. We're just not quite yet there for 2 years down the road, but we're certainly not going to wait this long as we did. So the major differences is the teachers start the last week of August, and we go into the second week of June, and graduation would be around June 9th is what we have tentative scheduled. So shifting it back, second semester wouldn't end till the second or whatever, not about 8 or 7 or 8 days into the second semester. And so there's pros and cons with that. There's pros and cons to every piece of this, like there is in any calendar that we have. But in talking with Mrs. Coy and a number of folks, we feel like this calendar can work for us. And so, but ultimately the board has to support it. So any questions?
Just 2 kind of quick ones. I think the only federal holiday that's on there during the school year that we don't get off is October 9th. I can't remember what holiday that, but
So-
I know it's highlighted red, but
oh gosh, why did we opted to go the next week, Monday, and not that day. And that's why, we had a good reason. Ben, I'm looking at you. Do you remember?
You want to share that?
I don't know, probably not.
Columbus Day.
Yeah.
It was Mr. Sandwich's suggestion that we move that.
Right, because of the implications with the OC union, that's what it was, and a holiday pay and those types of things where we wanted to not harm anybody with this calendar, that's what it was. Thank you. So we moved it away from the holiday, but the idea of having a day in October just for, just having a little bit long weekend in that month that we normally don't was a suggestion, and so we added that in.
can I,
Oh, go ahead, sorry.
just in the, I don't know what my, I know we have the one that lists the dates that's attached to it. Can we somehow just make a note of that in one that lists all the dates, the text version of that, we just say that, school in session that day? Because most federal holidays we do have
Yeah.
off.
Right, Columbus Day.
Columbus
Yeah,
Day.
we have not traditionally done it. A lot of schools traditionally don't. Some do, but
Well,
we
if
can.
we just note in that,
We can do that.
thing, this, school of, some favorite school in session.
And I know one of the other questions maybe you had or somebody else had was about the May PD day on a Tuesday. And again, we're happy to move that to a Monday, as long as we don't have voting or it's an issue within our schools. That's
Yeah, that was
usually
my
traditionally
question.
we
We
do.
would know by the end of January if the.
I tried-
anything-
I tried looking it up. I can't find anything on that particular day as of now, so I don't know if.
But the deadline to have something on it is the end of January.
Yeah.
I
So
see,
we would
yes,
have
true.
3 months' notice to be able to.
I guess we build in the flexibility. We could talk about what that implication is on that particular day.
Because if we have the ability, if there's nothing on the ballot, we don't need to have our schools available. I think that'd be a community satisfied to kind of flop that. If it's obviously a union thing, if they're okay with that, that'd be something I think would be good.
I just also like to share that's our health and wellness day, so we start planning for that
Yeah.
way in advance.
So we'd have to almost
getting
pick the day.
Securing people for
That's
that
true.
day, so I
Good
just
point.
wanted to put that out there that
But
day
you
is.
could build that into it, say that we would know by the end of January if we swap it, and then we know if there's any big concerns on, the.
Right. I just wouldn't want to advertise a date that wasn't accurate.
Again, this is a draft calendar that we're having discussion on right now. There's nothing in stone. We're there's a couple of things, I think we've got some good ideas, but the biggest thing is parents, I know do want to know what the calendar looks like. We're getting questions on that now, so. Anything else on that? That's my report.
Thank you. Any old business, anyone? Board committee reports, finance?
Nothing new from what Jane gave in her, finance report.
Capital improvement?
We met, I met Zoom because I wasn't able to be there, but we discussed the fact that everything is completed with the fine arts, other than nothing that would keep us from being in the building and running classes regular. A couple little items that they're working with the contractors with, but not affecting anything education, at least in the process of maybe coming soon.
Well said.
Maybe.
July 22. Those are the
July
ones that
22.
we ordered in July of 22.
Yep, we're finally getting that process.
We
So-
might finally.
So
get
COVID holds on for quite a while. And other than that, that's all that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. Policy personnel, we met and the new policies, please look over them for the next meeting. Academic,
We did a deeper dive into the test scores, which we've talked about from the state report cards at the last two meetings. I think that perhaps the things that are new to share with our community is that in 2023, which is this coming June, achievement progress will be the bulk of the scoring. Additionally, the state is putting in half-point ratings starting in 2023. We've talked about some of the areas that are doing very, very well. We've also talked previously about spots within the district, specifically the Facet building is an area of opportunity for that. But that's primarily what we discussed. K through 3 reading diagnostic assessments were finished up in September. Those results are back, and so subsequently, the administration and teachers are working together to address the needs of our kiddos throughout the community. And then there will be meetings with parents coming up in November to discuss some of those outcomes. Third grade students will be taking the reading OST on next week, October 25th and 26th. We also will be testing our students in the digital academy. First quarter ended today, grades are final on October 26th. And then November 1 and 2, we've got November 7, we've got a K through 6 workday, November 8, K through 6 conferences, and a 7 through 12 professional learning day.
thank you. Legislative
No report
liaison,
this time.
student achievement liaison,
No report.
thank you. Board discussion. I have listed the last football game with St. John's Friday night. Community Candy Crawl is Sunday, the 23rd, which is also a benefit for Cruz Ibarra. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He's a clay freshman who is battling cancer. So if anybody is available to come, there will be in the clay cafeteria a fundraiser. And Volley for the Cure, along with Quantic Always, is the 25th. Anything else from anyone? Okay, executive session, anyone? Announcement of regular and special on Monday at 5 o'clock. And next meeting night is November 15th at 6 o'clock.
Is that during OSBA or is that the week before OSBA?
It's right after, it's when we get back.
Ah, very cool.
It's the day after we get back.
We can actually get back in the afternoon from OSD, yeah. It's a Tuesday.
Correct. Anything else? May I have a motion to end the meeting, please?
So moved.
A second? Second. Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Shea?
Yes.
Mrs. Cathers?
Yes.
Mr. Zavisky?
Yes.
Mr. Savick?
Yes.
And Mrs. Molnar?
Yes, and thank you, everyone.
6:42.
Is that not 7?
It's at, yeah, it's in.